Hey, what is up, guys? I'm here to give you the first of many Breaking Bad reviews. Um, I originally wanted to start doing this a little while ago, but I never got around to it. But every Wednesday, I am going to be giving you a Breaking Bad review. Now, instead of going back and reviewing all the ones I have missed, I'll just start from scratch. Um, and this one's called Pilot. And since it's the first episode, they always call the first episode of every show Pilot. I don't know why, they just do. Um, and it came out on January 20th, 2008. What was that? I was in 6th grade when this episode came out. Starts out with this guy, and, well, it actually starts out, you see pants falling down. And he starts out with this guy, he's trying to drive really fast in an RV. And he's wearing an oxygen mask, and there's a partner of his that's knocked out. He's wearing an oxygen mask, and we just see two dead bodies just dead on the floor, which I thought was weird. And then he's escaping. The RV ends up crashing because he hears sirens, so he thinks the police are after him. So then he gets out of the vehicle, and he's in his fucking underwear too, which is strange. And then he puts his clothes on, well, his shirt anyways. And then he grabs a gun and grabs a video camera and it records himself, and he says, we find out that this guy's name is Walter, I forget his middle name, but Walter Hartwell White. And yeah, just kind of gives like a farewell speech to his son, who we found out is Walter Jr., and his wife Skylar. I'll just make sure I have this right. Let me just check. And says that remember, I only do this because out of love for you. And when he goes to shoot, he cuts to the theme song, which is just kind of like a country theme song, and it just shows all the Breaking Bad stuff and all the words coming together, kind of like a code. And it comes back to 3 weeks earlier, and he gets up and he starts exercising. We find out that he's some sort of a special expert. He got a reward for it. Walter then ends up going to eat. We find out it's his birthday, and his son has they have it in the name right here. Has cerebral palsy. Hopefully that means he's kind of disabled. That he's like not necessarily on crutches, but he's kind of he just can't walk for himself. He can't do anything really for himself. He kind of has a speech problem too. So, and I went and read some stuff about it. You can have it like before you're born and stuff. So he kind of is talking about how their mother wants them to cut down the cholesterol, so she gives them like vegetarian bacon instead of real bacon. And then his father drives his son to school, and they have to talk in the handicap spot, obviously. And we found out that Walter is a chemistry teacher, and he's teaching the class all about chemistry. And one of the students is just kind of talking while he's talking. He's like, "Hey, what's wrong with the table?" So then he makes him go back, and then yeah, he just kind of talking about like what the study of chemistry is. Talks about how it's matter and stuff. They also find out that he works at a car wash too, and he went to wash one of the cars, and it ended up being the kid that was in his class that he just called out, which was awesome. And then they take a picture of him, and it's supposed to be this funny joke. And then he goes home, and they have a surprise birthday party for him. We find his brother-in-law Hank, and he's trying to teach Walter Jr. how to use a gun. And then he puts on the TV because he's scheduled to be on TV, talking about how he took out this meth lab. And Walter's like, "Hey, how much money is that? Like I think he said $70 million, right? No, $700,000. And he's like, well, and then he offers him to go for a ride on. He's like, "Yeah, we'll see." And then his wife and him go to bed, and she's kind of touching his balls, kind of, I guess, as like a birthday present. We find out in this, but she's pregnant, so they can't really have sex, so this is all they can really do. And they just talk about how, yeah, I'm gonna paint that room because you don't want me up on the ladder, all that stuff. Says I'll get to it. Then he's back at the car wash. He's getting ready to wash one of the cars, and then he just passes out. So he gets taken in an ambulance. He doesn't really want to be there. He says he's fine. He doesn't really have an insurance. So, and we find out that he has lung cancer. And when the guy was talking to him, he was kind of zoning out. Couldn't really hear what the guy was saying. He got distracted, but that the guy had mustard on his coat, which was hilarious. And we find out that his wife, that that Skylar, ended up using he ended up using like one of the codes that was called a master code. They're not supposed to use that code, but he used it to buy printer paper. And then he's back at the car wash again, and he sees he is just kind of staring out the window, kind of zoning out. And his boss tells him to get to work, and he's just like, fuck you, I'm not working, fuck you, fuck this. And he's like, suck on this and stuff. He was just kind of going off on it, went on this big rampage, which was weird. Then the next thing that happened was, he is lighting matches and putting them in the pool, and he calls Hank and tells him he'll go on a ride along with him. So then they're talking about it, him and his partner Steve Gomez, they're telling them how they can find the meth lab and stuff. So they go in there, they arrest this guy, and then while they're in there, well, they have the other guys go in there, and then Walter asks Hank, can I go in the building, check out what the meth lab looks like? And it's like, yeah, let's just go check it out. And then they see this guy, he sees this guy get out of this girl's room, who was naked, which was awesome to see that. Tits were obviously fake. And the guy knows he sees him. He looks at his license plate, and it said like Captain Cook or something. So then Hank catches up with this guy. He was a former student of his. His name is Jesse. And he says that no one's looking for you. And he's like, oh, you're going to give me like this big speech? He's like, oh, I'm just going to give you a small speech. He says that he wants to work together. You know a lot about the business, and I know all about the chemistry. So he wants to be partners, and if he doesn't allow this to happen, he'll turn him in. I guess he agreed to it because they ended up becoming partners. And he grabs all the chemicals, the bottles and stuff, and they just kind of talk about because this is a crystal meth, so which I wasn't expecting this show to be about crystal meth, because I didn't really know what this show was about going into it, so I just kind of went into it. And then I heard of this show before, I just never knew what it was about. Trying to remember. And then he just talks about how you let me do the chemistry. It's just kind of like you have to wear protective stuff to wear this. Talks about how we're gonna make this good stuff, we're not gonna make bad stuff. I'm getting a text, hold on. And then he talks about too how what else does he talk about though after that? And then they talk about too how they can't make it in his basement because that's his house. So they can't make it in his house obviously because his wife will get pissed about it. And Skylar's sister, I forget her name, but she was getting suspicious about him because he's acting weird, probably because he's doing this stuff, and she's like, oh, it's fine, it's probably just the age thing. He's just turned 50 this year, so. And then we see back at like a store, Walter Jr. is trying on pants, and obviously he can't put pants on himself because he's disabled. So when he puts them on and he's just checking out the pants, and his wife's like, I think you should get him, you look good. And then we see like these kids are making fun of him, and Skylar's gonna go say something about him, but Walter's like, forget it, and then don't. I'll leave. Well, he just kind of walks off, and then when Skylar's gonna go say something, Walter goes and beats the shit out of the guy. He drops him, just steps on his leg, says, how does it feel not to have legs? And then when he goes to fight this, when the guy gets up to fight him, he doesn't fight him. I thought it was good. I actually really like this. I don't really know. He just acts weird. And the wife kind of gave him a weird look, like, why did you do that? Walter Jr. was obviously happy about it. But, you know, I think he had every right. And these kids, I think, like, I mean, he's handicapped, you know? Why the hell do you need to make fun of him? I know the world's not good, but it was just, I think, a little too far that he had to make fun of him. And then we find out that they had to rent out an RV, actually. That's to make the meth. And this was before this even happened. I just thought of it now. And then, I think he said that, I think Walter said that he only had 700, I think. Yeah, 7,000. And he says that the guy wants 850, so he says, "You're a drug dealer, make deals with them." And Jesse's like, "Hey, why do you want to do this anyway?" And he doesn't really give him an answer. Obviously, Jesse wants to do this for money, but he doesn't give him an answer. He just go get the RV. And then when they go out for the RV, they make the meth. It's just kind of like this montage of him making the meth. And then Jesse's like, "We gotta sell this and we can make some tomorrow." So he sends him to this guy, and his name was Crazy A. Molona. And he's gonna show it to this guy. He says he's back in business, and he didn't mean to leave his cousin, who we find out is Emilio. And he says that you left him, and he says that he would drop him or something. And then we find out that he made bail. So so when they go back, they want to know how they got this stuff. And Emilio knows Walter from what happened, and they're gonna threaten to shoot him. But Walter's like, "Hey, I'll teach you how to make this stuff. I'll teach you how to make it." He's like, "Okay." So then he goes to teach him how to make it. He's all nervous and stuff, and then he just takes this stuff. It's called well, actually, too, Emilio was smoking a cigarette and he throws it out. That gets used later. He throws some gas in there. The cigarette he threw out caused a fire. So then, and the RV explodes, and it's this big chase scene. And it kind of cuts back to like the present time. And he's about to shoot everyone. He doesn't want to do it, but we found out that the sirens, the police signs, the police officers was just firemen. And then he's like, "Let's just go back." They collect the money, and his wife comes back, and he's like, "You know, you something's weird's going on." Skylar's like, "Something's weird's going on with you, so I want you to." This is back at his house, by the way. If you don't, and you think you know how to shut me up, and then they start having sex to end the episode. So as for the episode, I thought it was good, really well done. If I had to pick something I hated about it, there wasn't really anything I hated about it. Maybe when the kids were making fun of Walter Jr. That's probably about it. But I'm glad they paid for it. But yeah, I think the season. I know this Breaking Bad's over, but but I always wanted to try to watch it. I'll try watching it every week. I'll get a review up and all that. But that's all I really have to say. Leave the Q&A videos. Until I get enough questions, I'll answer them. But that's all I have to say, and peace out.